Ta-ta, the woman said. Their laughing and joyous mood resumed as they disappeared into the fog. Maya heard a door open and shut. False alarm, she murmured to Sarge. They looked happy, like they were in love. She shook her head. Some of us are just terminally single, right? Maya continued to walk the deck, looking for the place where the crime report said the murder had taken place. Though all the evidence of the crime had been removed, it often helped to retrace the steps of the victim. She had very little to work with based off the report written by the ship's security chief. Crystal Linwood, the murder victim, had worked for the onboard entertainment venues for less than a year. Her body had been found by the east entrance door. She'd been stabbed. Maya located the door and reached for the knob, preparing to retrace the steps that the victim must have taken. A hand grabbed her from behind and pulled her back. Judging from the strength he exhibited, the attacker was male. Sarge barked. The man kicked a deck chair in the direction of the dog. Maya heard a yelp of pain. She felt herself being dragged. She crashed into another deck chair, and then her assailant circled around and pushed her from the front until her back was against a wall. Before she could react, he slammed a fist in her solar plexus, causing her to wheeze and gasp for breath. He put a knife to her throat. With his free hand, he pressed hard against her stomach. She was still fighting for air from the blow he'd struck. The attacker wore a ski mask. She could hear Sarge, but she could not see him. Why wasn't he coming to help her? As the canine barked, she could hear the noise of one object clanging against another. I'm going to make you pay for what you did. The man's voice held the threat of violence. She could feel the pressure of the knife against her throat. Her hands were free. Though he had her pinned in place, she might still be able to get away. She balled her hand into a fist, preparing to land a blow to his stomach. He pressed the knife deeper into her skin. She smelled the coppery scent of blood, and her skin stung from the cut. Don't even try, he warned. Sarge's barking grew louder, and then there was an odd scraping sound. The guy shifted and let up pressure on her neck. In that moment, his face was caught in one of the lights that illuminated the deck. She saw green eyes. Some distance away, she heard footsteps. The attacker glanced to one side and then the other. He lifted the knife off her throat and then, without another word, disappeared into the fog. She could hear his retreating footsteps, even as the other set of footsteps came toward her. She didn't see Sarge anywhere or hear him. Worry gnawed away at her. What had happened to her partner? She called his name. Now she heard the footsteps again, coming toward her from the opposite direction the assailant had run to. A silhouette of a man in uniform emerged from the fog. He held on to Sarge's leash. Did you lose your service dog, ma'am? His leash got tangled up with the deck chair, and then that chair caught on another one when he tried to drag it and was trapped. The man stepped closer. I'm the security chief, David Garrison. She'd noticed him when she'd boarded this morning. David Garrison was the one who had written the report that gave her almost nothing to work with. Her chest hurt where she'd had the wind knocked out of her. The cut to her neck, though not deep, still stung. She held her hand out. Sarge jerked away from the man and ran toward her. She struggled to speak. I was attacked. David's voice filled with concern as he stepped toward her. You okay? She managed a nod, and then kneeled and wrapped her arms around Sarge. Holding the dog steadied her nerves. They both had had a scare. Officer Garrison straightened his spine and squared his shoulders. Which way? Where did he go? She pointed in the direction the perp had gone. David took off running. Sarge, who was trained to detect weapons and would pick up the scent of the fleeing man as well as the knife, would be able to track even more precisely than the security officer. She commanded him to go. He put his nose to the ground and then lifted his head and sniffed the air. A moment later, Sarge also took off running while she held on to the leash. David Garrison's footsteps echoed as he darted all along the deck. It didn't take long for Maya and Sarge to catch up with him. Her partner alerted on the west door that led down to the next deck. She swung the door open. Sarge scampered down the stairs. This floor was comprised of staterooms for the guests. The rooms had balconies that faced inward, providing a view of the main floor, where there was a pool.